Greetings, scholars. I want to take a few moments to talk to you about the topic and guidelines for the literary analysis. If you click on this folder, you'll see this video will be here after I finish with it. But I want to talk to you about actually writing the paper for the literary analysis. So I'm going to press the down arrow key, and I'm going to pull up the topic and guidelines. So look at this. Here are your instructions for writing the paper. And I want to go over this because I want to make this paper easy for you to do. I don't want it to present a problem for you. So I want to review with you everything that you're going to do with this paper. So look at this. The literary analysis will cover Langston Hughes' short story, Thank You, Ma'am. The short story is posted to Blackboard. You've already seen it posted in Unit 10. You're going to read the short story carefully and examine the two main characters, Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones and Roger. For the essay, you will examine specific themes. I'm going to give you the themes that I want you to analyze, okay? The first theme is kindness. Empathy will be the second one. Punishment and family round out the top four. So look at this. Follow my guidelines. Follow my guidelines for writing the paper. So let's start with the introduction. Your introduction, will be 5 to 8 sentences. Look at what I have here for you. Sorry, it seems like I have the hiccups. The introduction of the literary analysis. In the introduction of the literary analysis, I want you to state the name of the author, take the title of the short story, and I want you to summarize the short story for the reader, okay? Describe the two main characters, okay? At the end of the introduction, I want you to present your thesis for the paper. I want you to use a general thesis. Remember, use a general thesis because you use a plan of development. That's elementary first, and it gives the reader a choice to either accept your 3 choices, 3 plans of development, or just dismiss them. So keep everything general for me. So look at the example that I put here for you. In the short story, Hughes uses the 2 main characters to develop the major themes. Boom, right? Don't make it difficult. You can use this thesis statement if you want. I don't care, right? I just want you to give me a general thesis statement that sums up what you're going to do with the paper without telling me exactly what it is you're going to do. So let's talk about the first paragraph. You're going to write 8 to 12 sentences on kindness. And I want you to pay very close attention to me as I go through this with you. So when you do write the body paragraph, I want you to make sure that you give me a proper transition to introduce the theme. We're going to keep it simple. You can use first. Hughes uses the 2 main characters to develop the theme of kindness. You can state to begin. Hughes uses the 2 main characters to develop the theme of kindness, right? Give me a proper transition. First, to begin, right? Use a proper transition to introduce the topic sentence and make sure that the topic sentence tells me exactly which theme you're going to discuss, but it's already outlined there for you because I do want you to start with kindness. So I want you to define the term and listen to me carefully. You should know what kindness is. This is your paper. I am looking to test your critical thinking skills, right? You should not have to look in a dictionary to talk about kindness. You should be able to define the term. One of the things I don't want you to do is to try to write 1 sentence for kindness. I do not want you to do that, right? Rather, I want you to develop the thing. What does the term kindness mean to you, right? And remember, we're going to center these themes on the short story because you are expected to talk about kindness and how kindness was shown to Roger by Mrs. Jones in the story. So I want you to develop your own theme, develop your own definition, definition of kindness. Then I want you to use one specific reference from the story to illustrate the theme. You're going to use MLA format to document the reference from the source. So look at this. I give you an example here, and I use the same example for every paragraph because it is only, the short story is only 3 pages, and I don't want to give you a bunch of examples that you can just use, okay? So after dragging the little thief to her apartment house, signal phrase, Hughes notes that Mrs. Jones did not, quote, direct quote, did not watch the boy to see if he was going to run now, nor did she watch her purse, which she left behind on the daybed. End quote. This came from page 3. Now listen to me carefully. Unlike your research paper where you were probably using electronic sources to explain what was going on, here we have the actual source is 3 pages. So here you will incorporate page numbers. What page number does this information come from that you're using in the story? After you give me the quotes, or after you give me the reference, the support from the story, whether it's a direct quote, a summary, or paraphrase, then I want you to explain how this particular action demonstrates kindness. So look at this. If I'm saying that Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones does not watch Roger to see if he was going to run, nor did she watch her pocketbook, right? How does that demonstrate kindness? And this example totally does not fit kindness, and that's why I put it there. How does this act explain to me? How does the act demonstrate kindness? You chose the quotes, you chose the support from the essay. Explain to me, how does this show kindness? The last thing I want you to do is some analysis in your own words, okay? I want you to say in 2023, if a 14, 15-year-old man-child attempts to take the purse from a large woman, a large worldly woman, right, who knows how to handle herself, what would be the outcome in 2023? I want you to analyze that, right? Because this story takes place during the roughly 1920s, 30s, right? So I want you to just analyze. This is 2023. If these two people existed today in 2023 and he attempts to take her purse, what is going to be the outcome of the situation in 2023? Okay. Think about it, write about it. You have 8 to 12 sentences to develop that theme of kindness. And I want you to repeat yourself. Same thing goes for the paragraph on empathy, right? Use a transition, define it, explain it, give me a quote from the story, explain how the quote from the story shows empathy, and then analyze from 2023, right? In 2023, would empathy work in 2023, right? I want you to imagine, and I want to test your critical thinking skills, right? How would this situation play out today on the streets? If they happen to, like I said, a woman who knows how to handle herself, like Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones, and a teenager. I mean, today, I don't want to give you any answers, but today a robbery would be a totally different thing than it was years and years and years ago, decades ago, right? So think about it. Write a paragraph on punishment, write a paragraph on family. Look at the conclusion. In the conclusion, I want you to restate the thesis. I want you to discuss the moral of the story. What's the moral of the story? Do you think Roger is better off or worse off after meeting Mrs. Jones? And do you believe Roger will be a changed young man after his encounter with Mrs. Jones? Okay. So I want you to, these are your instructions for the essay. You have an introduction, 4 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. So you're going to write 6 paragraphs for me. You're going to write 6 paragraphs for me. Okay. Look at the evaluation. Make sure that you set this up correctly. Look at how I want the heading. I do want the heading single space now, and not double space as it was for the research paper. I am taking off for grammar mechanics content, right? Here's your heading. Okay. Just read this. Follow all of my instructions for writing the paper. And if you have any questions, please email me. I am happy to discuss and answer any questions with you. If you would prefer a Zoom meeting or a face-to-face meeting, just let me know. As always, good reading, good writing to you, and I will see you in the next video.